Hey, hey, moral gamers! It's time to review The Simpsons. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, The Simpsons was like every other beat 'em up game in the early '90s. It's a cut and paste cookie cutter. Well, it does exactly what every other beat 'em up game does. And what's that? It allows you to walk through hordes of enemies, beating the living daylights out of them, and hopefully not hurting your friends. So, in the spirit of Final Fight, X-Men, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and other ones, comes The Simpsons. Like every other beat-em-up game of the early '90s, The Simpsons does have a story, and it's a comprehensive story. Maybe not. Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie are shopping. Out bursts Smithers from a jewelry store carrying a precious diamond. Smacking into Homer, he drops the diamond, and for some reason, Maggie assumes it's a pacifier. Maggie proceeds to suck on the diamond, and rather than yanking it out of the child's mouth, Smithers just takes the child. This causes pursuit of the Simpson family. That's your story. The thing about The Simpsons is that it fits in with every other beat-em-up game that was featured in the '90s. Think about it. Konami started with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, which was technically Ninja Turtles 2 on Nintendo, but that's another story. And they did X-Men, they did The Simpsons, and they did a few others that just never really made it. So, you're looking at the same motif. An attack button, a jump button, press them together, you have a little bit stronger attack, and if you have to fight a boss, bosses usually require jump attacks to be most effective against them. Or you can just hammer on them, which eats through your quarters and takes longer to finish the game. Well, The Simpsons fits into all the same Konami motifs. It's like they took the same engine, reskinned it, threw it out there, and said, hey kids, here's a new game. Well, it's not that bad of a game, actually. There's Simpsons humor in there, such as Moe in his tavern will be serving drinks. You'll see Barney drunk on the streets in places. You'll see Bleeding Gums, who died someplace in the late '90s and no longer is on the show. I mean, it's a lot of good references to when The Simpsons was really in its prime. And that's what makes this game charming, is that it really captures that essence. From a gamer standpoint, this game does exactly what a beat-em-up should do. You beat things up. And to my disappointment, we don't see very many comprehensive beat-em-ups in this day and age. People are off playing their Modern Warfares, their Battlefields, their Call of Duty remakes in some cases. I mean, right now the first-person shooter is king. And the fighting games have very much diverged. Because fighting games nowadays, it takes a person who is wholly dedicated to that fighting game, who's willing to learn the system, who's willing to keep in step with all the changes since the last iteration, to actually play. So, you're going to get slaughtered in a fighting game, and if you're a casual person like myself, you're going to get slaughtered on Battlefield. So what do? Well, beat 'em up games. They're easy, 2 buttons, simple concept, not much replay value, depending on the game. In this particular one, they make you unlock the features, whereas in X-Men, which they released earlier last year, in X-Men, everything was just unlocked right there. This one, you have to complete the USA version before you can get into the Japanese version. There's some other quote-unquote cool stuff that you have to play through the game over and over and over to get. It really does incentivize the player to play through it multiple times. And since these games are rather short, they're a good fiddle stint. If you just basically are looking for something you can beat in half an hour, hey, The Simpsons. If you are looking to sit down and play a more comprehensive game, something longer, something more epic, go get a Final Fantasy, go get anything else. The Simpsons is not going to be a very long-term game. In fact, it's very much a friend-friendly game because it does support 4 players direct from the console, as opposed to other titles. You can also play online as well, which is a good addition, especially in this day and age since arcades are dead. So the question is, from a moral standpoint, do I recommend The Simpsons? And the answer is, first up, this game features violence. Now, you are beating the living daylights out of humans, zombies, rabbits, or at least people dressed like rabbits, clowns, which I kind of consider a bonus because I don't like clowns, and bears. And yes, it is fun to put the smackdown on the bear. So if you're opposed to violence, you may want to skip this one. There's some alcohol in it. You do go through Moe's Tavern. During Moe's Tavern, you see other people who are drunk, passed out. You'll see Moe mixing drinks behind the counter, and you'll also have to fight a guy who, at the end of the stage, is drunk and passed out. When he comes to, he proceeds to fight you like every other boss character does. So, if you have issues with alcohol and are more sensitive towards that, you may want to skip it. Other than that, it is just a clean game. This is The Simpsons back in the 90s when they were rather tame compared to Family Guy, compared to Unsupervised, and other shows nowadays that are very raunchy and very adult humor oriented, but still using the cartoon format. This is when The Simpsons was still, for the most part, a family show. So, do I recommend this? Yeah, my kids and I will be playing this game quite a bit, actually. And before I go, I'd like to say a quick thank you to Sony. The PlayStation Plus is actually a very sweet option here. You're getting about 4 free games every month, and no, I'm not getting paid to say this. I rather enjoy it over Xbox Live, and The Simpsons was brought to you free by Sony, which it is their free game for February. So if you're a PlayStation Plus member, go download it. If you are not a PlayStation Plus member, hey, $60 a year, and you get about 4 free games a month. It's not a bad deal there.